Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. It's my great pleasure to have Dr. Quinton Hennigh here. He's the founding member and technical director of Irving Resource. Welcome, Quinton.
Thank you, Chen. Good to see you.
All right, good. You had a great presentation early today. It seems like Irving is just on the edge of something great thing to happen. Tell us.
We are. It's a success 10 years in the making, as you know. We actually founded the company in 2016 after Gold Canyon sold, and we spun out to shareholders a dividend in the form of an Irving share. That was when Akiko and I decided we'd go to Japan. We looked for basically exploring Japan, which was almost unheard of at the time, almost unheard of. But we felt that there was good potential to find epithermal gold deposits. So these are hot spring gold deposits, very high silica contents, which means you can mine them and use them directly as smelter.
Smelter, that's right. There's no processing cost. Just mine it, dig it out, and throw in the furnace, and you got paid by the gold.
Correct. In fact, when you mine it, you actually get paid based on the metal content and the silica value of the rock.
Yeah. I heard the most profitable gold mine is in Japan. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, that's Hishikari. Hishikari is owned by Sumitomo Metal Mining, which is one of the big mining companies in Japan. So it's basically, there's a handful of Japanese mining houses. Sumitomo Metal Mining has not only the Hishikari mine, but they also have smelters in Japan. These are mainly copper smelters. Right? So they can mine high silica material out of Hishikari, very high grade. They keep the grades up 40, 45 gram per ton. And then they use that directly in smelters as flux. Gold, of course, comes out with the copper into the copper matte, so they can recover it directly from it.
That's beautiful. You basically don't need a process, no grinding process. You just throw to the furnace, and then you need the silica anyway. Correct. So you got paid by the silica and paid by the gold. It just couldn't be better.
It's remarkable.
Yeah. So, and then you, Irving, is on the edge about getting the first mining permit in Japan.
Yes.
And in past 30 years, looks really good. Who's your partner?
Well, our partner is JX Metals, which is basically the biggest Japanese mining house. Most people don't know JX. They would not be familiar with JX, say, here in North America. But if you look at JX and compare it to the other Japanese mining houses, certainly the biggest in the country. It's good to have a partner like that because obviously when it comes time to do the permitting stuff, it's going to be easier to work with a very large, call it big brother, to help with that. And they have smelters. They need that smelter flux. So they saw our project, the work we were doing. They actually approached us about, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago. Or no, it was more than that. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. And they saw that we were drilling, some areas at the Omu project in particular in Hokkaido, where we had multiple areas that have very high silica content. So what we call sinter. It's basically in the hot spring, the fluids come up, fractures, they deposit gold in the fractures as veins, but then they reach surface and they spread out into pools and they form basically large bodies of flat silica. And the silica that we hit there is ideal for smelter. Yeah, so JX saw that. They said, hey, we'd like to partner up with you. There was an opportunity to do that a little over a year ago. I think it was November 24. Yeah, 24 when we signed the deal. And now we're advancing 2 areas. It's an Omu Center and Omui, which are both part of the Omu project.
Wow, excellent. So you, on one hand, you have the largest, one of the, if not the largest smelter in Japan. Also, you have the largest gold mining company, Newmont, as your partner. It seems we do. So you have all the best partners in the world.
We're working with Newmont, of course, Newmont Mining down in Kyushu. So that's at the southern end of the country. We also have the exploration alliance with Newmont and Sumitomo Corporation too, by the way. So it's not Sumitomo Metal Mining, but Sumitomo Corporation. So we have a joint venture with Newmont and Sumitomo. Drilling around Yamagata, which is, it's the nearest epithermal district to Hishikari. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's 11 kilometers from Hishikari. It's very close by. In fact, I would say that it's probably the same general, hot spring field that formed, back in time. And these are very young, but they're only about 1 million years old.
Million years.
Yeah, they're very young in geologic terms. But we're basically the nearest neighbor to Hishikari. And I think Newmont and Sumitomo both see that, Yamagata has a fairly decent shot of being another Hishikari.
Yeah.
So
the most profitable gold mine in the world.
correct. Yes. So we've been drilling, let's see, about a year and a half or two now. We've got some holes that we drilled on the eastern side where we think the extension of the district lies. And we did hit some very interesting values. We got up to 46 grams in individual assays. But here soon, we're going to move back into the main core of the
main area. Yeah.
We're going to test the area below the historic workings. You got to remember that these mines, they go back, way back, 400 years. And they mine a mine. Of course, when you get into the water table, it's kind of hard to mine. You got to constantly pump. And that takes energy. It takes, dollars or yen, I guess. It takes money. So a lot of what we think is good potential there is basically areas where the veins project below the water table.
Wow. And then you're going to drill it first time in history.
It's, more or less, it's never seen any
modern exploration before. That's super exciting. So those will be drilled this year.
Yes, we expect mid-year start drilling.
Mid-year, and then partner with Newmont.
Correct. Newmont and Sumitomo.
And Sumitomo. Oh, right. Great. Yeah. That looks like something could be a big, if you hit, that could be a big one.
It is, yeah. We're very excited about that project.
All right. And then you seem to have, in your presentation, you have another project coming.
Yes, we got Noto Peninsula, which is a really interesting place. People might have remembered the name Noto, N-O-T-O, from the earthquake that happened, I think 2 years ago, 3 years, can't remember. But there was a very large earthquake on the west side of the Honshu Island, which is the main island in Japan. And, of course, it was devastating, for the local communities. So we've had to take it much slower than we anticipated. But we've been able to get in recently and start doing work. Everything's kind of getting back to normal. And very interestingly, the blood sampling that we did 5 or 6 years ago which told us there was gold in these areas that have never been explored. We're starting to find that source for them. We're seeing veins, and we're starting to see samples that surface that are high silica, gold-rich veins. So it's very exciting. I would call it a greenfields program. And the mineralization looks a lot like what is found off of the coast of Noto Peninsula. There's a little island called Sado, S-A-D-O, Sado Kinsan. Sado Kinsan is a historic gold mine that is in the same rocks as we have at the Noto Peninsula. Okay, so basically it's a continuation of the belt. And at Sado Kinsan, that was one of the biggest Japanese gold mines.
Oh, okay. I mean, just from the viewers, if you don't know, Japan used to be one of the biggest gold producer in the world. It's still producing gold, but it wasn't emphasized. But now it's a renaissance of the gold mining industry. And then Irving is the pioneer, I would say, first mover.
We're definitely a first mover. There's a couple of other, there's one other.
Right. So, you partner with Newmont, the other partner with Barrick. So the biggest mining company are looking at Japan, and then you will be the first one to get a mining permit.
I think we're going to go there with JX's help. Yeah,
JX are the first one. So first mining permit in the past 30 years. Is that correct? Easy 30 years. So that's great. So you will become a producer in very short period.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll focus on that center to begin with. But as you know, at Omu Center and the Onwe area, there's high-grade veins below. So it'll kind of naturally progress.
And as you're mining, and then there could be high grade, very high grade underneath.
That's right.
Okay, great. So tell this new investor, what do you expect this year? Just briefly, what you're looking for.
Look, we're actually going to get back to drilling here soon. We've just announced a raise and can't go into the discussion around that, but the money from that is going to allow us to start drilling on our own, because we have the venture with JX at Omu, and it is prescriptive to certain areas like Omu Center, there, and a very tight box around particular area. Even at Omwe, it's a very tight box, but there's a lot of ground around it. So we're gonna start to explore that.
Okay, yeah.
Very exciting. We've already laid out a drill program. We got a lot of drilling coming up there, and then of course mid-year we should be back to drilling at Yamagata, but this time under the main historic fence.
That was the first time.
Yeah,
Yes.
so a lot of really good, exciting exploration coming up.
Okay, great. Thank you, Quinton. Looking forward to hear good news from you.
Yeah, thank you, Chet.